Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Biblical Britain Encoded, where I've got a huge decode to show you. Following up from last week, just to show you how miraculous this code is. Right, okay, I best get straight into this because we've got quite a lot to go through. But just to recap on the last code, 27th of September, one of the subscribers, Steve, and a friend of mine, Steve Powell, sent me something like a TikTok feed or whatever it is, basically, and it said that the James Webb telescope had actually spotted an alien armada fleet heading towards Earth. They knew it was obviously not a meteor or anything, because I don't know whether it stopped and changed to direct its trajectory and started heading towards Earth. Okay, right. But at the time of doing the first code, right, I've made one change to this, and I say one change. It's all I've done is I've put the Pleiades first and Pegasus last. Where on the first code I put that at the top. Still the same set, obviously, of these are constellations in the night sky, obviously. Pleiades are seven sisters, Ursa Minor the little bear, Telescopium the telescope, which was the biggest giveaway, Ursa Major the great bear, and Pegasus the winged horse. Okay, out of 88 constellations, I picked these. Well, there's a little bit more to this, because I originally used Sagitta the arrow and Sagittarius the archer, but now I know why, because there's a second part to this code, but it is deliberately split. Hence the reason for me putting the Pleiades at the top, where I had it at the bottom. I think I had it at the bottom last time, and Pegasus at the top. Okay, but as you can see on the side, I noted it last time that there was put up, and I just wrote at the bottom 5 constellations, because I wasn't aware that this is a 2-part code, and an amazingly clever one, built into creation, put there by the creator. Yeah. Okay, so, and for anybody new, welcome to the channel. See, we're getting a few new subscribers, and hopefully we'll get this thing, get this message out eventually. Well, when the ship turns up, that hopefully we'll do it anyway. But in the meantime, we'll just keep plodding forward, and I'll keep my part of the bargain by doing these videos. Okay, so put up something, obviously, but the basic decode for anyone new, it's a simple anagram, but bear in mind there are pictures as well on the map. So it is anagram, but it's not completely anagram. It's backed up by pictures when we use the Atlas matrix, because the majority of this code either comes from the constellations or the stars in the constellations. There's a bit of a mixture. They're kind of, I think there's more code up there than I even, obviously I just get directed to what I need to make this code literally at the right time. But right, okay, so when I literally anagram it, so every letter there is every letter in this statement. Okay, now on its own, I think this is fantastic. This is proof in itself that there is definitely the divine. When Yah said I create new works, he meant I create it, because I get this from the constellations, from the Atlas. I've even shown how, obviously, the Black Knight satellite, or Heaven satellite, Black Knight is how you recognise it from the Masonic chessboard. The secret of the chessboard, the Masonic chessboard on the temple is the Black Knight. I've decoded all this, obviously, but there's previous videos that will explain to you how I do this. I get downloads, and then these triggers come. It's so difficult to even begin to explain how it does it, but every time without fail, I just get it right every time. It's like winning the lottery on every attempt in coding terms, which puts it beyond just me, the coincidences involved in this. And bear in mind, again, I'll say it, that this This is not, well, it's not really, apart from the James Webb's telescope has seen it. I'd already predicted that there was an Mothership armada. It was going to come to Earth. It was going to go to the RG, well, what is coded with to find where it's headed is the RGH, basically, which is the code for the hospital I was born in as well, the Royal Gwent Hospital. But it's the Royal Arch, Jerusalem, and the Hill Fort. And again, like I say, I can't go through everything, but it says to tie event site, obviously. Well, this is the great event that's also recorded in the stars. And then it says, I greet Siluri H at Temple. Again, well, obviously the Greek bit was a bit of a surprise. Well, massive surprise. I look forward to that. But the Siluri H bit, I'd already encoded this. Siluri are the tribe. They're not. It's not the Israelites, or it's not even Israel. It's the land of his rule, and the land is Siluria, not Israel. And the Siluri are the kind of, I say, chosen tribe. Well, we'll get more into that as we go on. But and the temple is where I put down as the rendezvous, and the hill fort just above it, where the key is, or the key, Solomon's key, basically, in Monmouthshire. That's where the hint in Solomon, only Mon's key, and only Mon's temple. Well, as far as I'm aware, it is the only key and the only temple in Mon, but they're obviously ancient. Both of them are ancient forts. The temple is in the real Jerusalem, spelt with a G, and like I say, I can't get into it all again, but what a point I'm making is that it's obviously added the extra bits, but it is just confirmation of what I'd already decoded. So there was no accident in this. I draw pictures, and then 3 years later I realised that the pictures I drew have got the code in them and confirmations of everything I sort of decoded after I drew the picture, which makes it remarkable, but proves that I'm getting this information from outside of this, well, I don't know about outside this world, but it seems to be an AI program built something in the Black Knight satellite that seems to must download, which is the fuzzing I get in my head, which I've got now actually, is I get the fuzzing in, the kind of frequency noise in my head, and then all of a sudden these triggers come, bing, 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 and I go there and there's the code every single time. Okay, so the James Webb Telescope has seen the Argus ship Armada. Report true, disclosure soon, seal RGH, tie event site, I greet Siluri H at Temple. Okay, I'm going to scrub this off because there's a second message which includes the Pleiades. Now, in the book of Job, it says, canst thou bind the sweet influences of the Pleiades? Okay, so this is the reason for moving the Pleiades at the top, because on the second set of constellations that do the same thing and give you the second part, never mind the amazing message that it gives, obviously then, but normally I would, well, if I did a code, if I'd known this as one code, I wouldn't have worked it out, I don't think. Well, I don't know, but I wouldn't have used the Pleiades twice, let's say that. So by it being cleverly split into two, so I get the first one, and then I'm treating that, when I kind of looked at the second bit, I realised the second code that ties completely up with the first code, but uses the Pleiades twice. The Pleiades will be the final constellation, and the Pleiades then what we'll do is we're going to bind all the sweet influences of the Pleiades. Okay, right, bear with me a second, I'll just put you on pause. Okay folks, right, as you can see, right, I now realise why on the first one, the initial two I initially had in, I forget which one, I think I changed Pegasus and maybe it was the Pleiades, I don't know, I forget now. But at first attempt I had Sagittarius and Sagitta the arrow, and then it just didn't feel right, so I took it out. But obviously this prompted me then, I thought, when I was looking, and it kind of like hits me, like put up, I'm kind of thinking, put up what? There's obviously more to this, and then bingo, it hits. Oh, right, so right, this is work of brilliance. Okay, so we got Sagittarius the Archer, Octans the Octant, Sagitta the Arrow, Monoceros the Unicorn, Aquarius the Water Bearer, and then the second one, again, this is why This is where we're going to bind the sweet influences, the Pleiades, because what this is effectively going to do, we got the one message, but there's a second message that just perfectly backs up the first message, gives more confirmation as well, making it just impossible to be coincidence, which it certainly is. But what you've got is put up SOS map. Okay, well, the SOS map is effectively the RGH. I'm probably not going to do it on this one because I've done it so many times. It's on the last video. It's on every one. Three videos ago, there was one that's absolutely mind-blowing, which really nails it down. It is complex, but it's all written into the stars, and just astonishing where it is. Okay, on that note, so all I'm going to do, exactly the same as I did with this, I'm going to do with these constellations, and I'm going to show you the message. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bind the sweet influences, and to bind the sweet influence, right, firstly, and again, just to put this in perspective, the missing word here is Argus, SOS map, because the sweet influences, the Pleiades is please ID. That's an anagram of the Pleiades in its shortest form. And then what it is the sweet influences are because it's sugar. And again, I showed it on the last video. Sugar is an anagram of ARGUS, Argus. So please ID the Argus. So what you basically have now is put up Argus SOS map. So it's the place of, basically, as I already decoded in multiple forms, including, even with the pyramids, using all sorts, and Solomon symbology. Basically, the rendezvous the rendezvous is the temple, and the key is the landing zone. However, both of those fit together because the next part confirms something that would, literally locks the two as one, really. Okay, bear with me a second. I shall put up the message from this, just this part here. Okay, folks, right, bear with me a second. Just before I show this incredible code, I just want to refer to the original post. Oh, bear with me a second, let me grab my microphone. There we go, sorry folks. Right, just before I show this fantastic code, the original sort of TikTok piece that I was sent said, basically, obviously, is the writing on it says, according to James Webb telescope, a city-sized unknown object, presumably a spaceship, correcting its course towards Earth. What are your thoughts on this? Okay, right. Well, obviously, the first part of this code, which sort of like confirms that the James Webb telescope had seen it, where it's heading and everything else, obviously is one part. Now, the second part backs it up, but the two codes actually go, you can, I'll read them to you, but I'll show you what the entire thing says, but they're both codes in their own right. Okay, let me just check that my board, yes, perfect. Right, okay, as you can see, right, so I've put the first bit up there just to give this a bit more strength. It says, the James Webb telescope has seen the Argus ship Armada. Report true, disclosure soon. Seal RGH, Thai event site, I greet Siluri H at temple. The second part says, I bear witness that the Argus, a Titan mothership, arrives. Acquires the H target, course reset to Earth. And then it says, connect Atlas Cornwall code on U.S.A. Well, there's a bit more because that kind of finishes. It's another code that really puts the icing on the cake, really, for this and the Book of Job as well, because obviously I've showed you, and then at the bottom what I've done is I've put up, then you've got the SOS map, and then all I add is the Argus, which is your sweet influences, and this is the kind of Pleiades tide. In fact, I'll read, it doesn't really matter, but I think, okay, so I think, I'm pretty sure this is how it would read if I kind of mix these two together. If I bind, it says, canst thou bind the sweet influences? Well, let's just bind them. So I think what it would say in total, in the correct order, is the James Webb Telescope has seen the Argus ship Armada. I bear witness that the Argus, a Titan mothership, arrives, acquires the H target, course reset to Earth, report true, disclosure soon, seal the RGH, tie event site, I greet Siluri H at Temple, connect Atlas Corn War code on U.S.A. Okay, so the next, right, we need to go to the planets next for the next code, so which comes back again onto this one. Okay, bear with, I won't, right, let me just get this out the way, and then you'll see what I mean when we get there. Okay, so, but there is no possibility, given that, like I say, all this really is just confirming the perfectly timed TikTok question, you know, and was it true? And I said at the time, I don't know, is the honest answer. Well, 12 days later I had the answer, so you can, and it didn't take me that long either to work that out, or to work that out. That was quite easy as well. I mean, I doubt in total on the whole thing I've probably spent, I don't know, 4 hours maybe, if that. I doubt it's even that, to actually work out, but I tend to come off it, go back to it, come off it, go back to it. And if I get stuck, and it kind of pieces together perfectly until you get the result, the absolute, and bit, like I say, is this even, you know, this is clearly the work of the creator. This is not coincidence, given everything else as well that backs up, because there's a lot of code that you need that I already encoded to get the RGH, the event site, well, obviously the temple where I was inserted in the womb, my mother's womb, in the house that literally is sat on top of the temple, or as good as, and then taken to the royal. Basically, I was taken from there from being put into the matrix, because this is where the center of the matrix, which I've decoded, matrix, and then you add the P from the padlock, add P lock, and then that locks the matrix, and then that's what it all is matrix. So I was taken from the temple. I was taken to the Royal Gwent Hospital, where I came in through the Royal Arch in Cancer. I was born in Cancer. Even the word Newport Hospital anagrams as when I spot portal. So it was the portal into the Royal Gwent Hospital, RGH, which is also the Royal Arch, Jerusalem, and the Hill Fort in the code. Again, like I say, you'd have to go back to the last video or the one before just to get the grip on that, if you knew, but I'm going to show you. But what it basically amounts to is I came in the Royal Gwent Hospital, I was inserted into the womb of the matrix at the temple. Then I was taken to the Royal Gwent Hospital, where I came into the world and ended up living my life as normal, not knowing anything about any of this. And then all of a sudden my life turns upside down, one thing and another. I make a deal, literally, not quite realising what I was getting into, but that is not a complaint. And then kind of 50 years later, I end up back at, well, the place where I lived, you know, and in the book of Job it says, "Canst thou abide by thy crib?" Well, I live just outside the walls in a caravan on my mother's lawn, where I ended up, and that's where I've got to be. And it says, "Canst thou abide by thy crib?" Well, my crib is literally, the place where I greet Siluri H is literally a 2-minute walk up the road. So it covered, you know, obviously that's why it says that about "Canst thou abide by thy crib?" The book of Job is a coded book. It is, I believe it's an allegory, but it's whichever way, whether it's, well, he really had the conversation with the guy, or it's just a coded story, I'm not sure. But it clearly has all it's got the most amazing code in it, including the golden code, which we'll be coming to next. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay, folks, right, I'm obviously covering this up just for the second, but bear with me, let me grab my microphone. I always forget that. And now you've seen it. Right, as you can see, there's Sol Moon 9 planets code. Okay, I use Sol because everything to do with this is it's ancient. I don't know whether Sol was maybe the name of the sun. It's obviously the sun. That's why we live in a solar system. But in the case, and it's obviously Sol. Well, if you remove the O and stick it there, basically you've got Solomon, right? But what you've got is a Sol, Moon, 9 planets code. Okay, right. Let's just open it up. Right. So this gives you a title, basically, a Solomon 9 plan set. Now, bear in mind, this is all about the number 9, which is all to do with Job 9:9. So if I stick the final 9 on there, obviously you've got it's the 999 emergency evac or the CAS evac. And then you use the RGH hospital code, obviously, and bear in mind the RGH is in Cas Newydd, which is the Welsh word for Newport. So what you've got is a CAS RGH or CASIVAC RGH code. Okay, right, but when now I know people are going to say, oh, there are only 8 planets, but when I was growing up there were actually 9, and what they did, and I got a feeling they might be, I think they know that the evil that kind of rules this world are obviously trying to work things out as well. I'm quite sure of that. And I think they've removed this because obviously and removed that planet, Pluto, to make it 8, but maybe to mess up this code. Maybe they've seen something in it. For example, if you look here, you've got CYMRU, which is Cymru, which is Wales, or they softened the C, but it's really Gymru. Okay, but on that, basically, when you unscrabble this lot, this merry lot, okay, right, it gives you a very, very clever code that now is going to tie up the original James Webb telescope code, believe it or not. Okay, what it says, if you note, it says put up map SOS mon. So take the mon off, and then you've got your put up map SOS mon, which is obviously the code down the side as well, which connects it to, obviously connects this to that, but it connects in an even cleverer way than that. It says join Arcturus return event, and then I've underlined the word rule and the question mark because that is the kind of ace card in the pack, as to speak. Right, so it says only H-man ashore, true. Right, so what is the Arcturus return event line? Right, the golden code really is the return of Yah the creator, and what he says, and here comes the Pleiades again. He says, who makes Pleiades, Arcturus and Orion? So what you do is you take Orion, the full title, Orion the Hunter, Pleiades the Seven Sisters, and then you use the star Arcturus. When you anagram all those three, the 2 constellations and the star down, what you get is this. I see truth return, so I return on H. Please set evac HIDs. What this is telling you is that the creator is basically coming back, and this is the golden code in Job. Okay, it's also Job 9:9 because it's an allegory for the job, the 999 job. Right, this is where it gets real clever. So it says join the rule. Right, so what you need to do is you need to take the 9th rule. Okay, so we add the 9th rule. And the 9th, basically the 9th, Yah's 9th rule, or the 9th commandment, is in fact, bear with me a second, let me just rewrite something at the top. Bear with me. Okay, this should help a little bit better. Right, okay. As you can see now at the top, I've written Job 999 because I'm going to add the 9th rule, basically, or the 9th commandment. What I've done now is taken the first code that we did, where it says, I bear witness that the Argus, a Titan mothership, arrives, and then obviously it tells you it course corrects, is headed for the H, or target H, and everything else that goes with it. But incredibly, and I couldn't believe this when I got it, I just woke up and within, I don't know, I hadn't been awake 15 minutes and it just suddenly come to me, what is the 9th commandment? And then obviously this is why this says the join Arcturus return event rule. So rule number 9 is thou shalt not bear false witness. In fact, I'm not even going to false witness. In other words, well, obviously I'm not allowed to bear false witness, and to be truthful, I can't. All I do is really pass the message on. You know, obviously, well, if anyone thinks I could make this up, then you've got to be, you know, they'd have to be crazy, because it links up so perfectly in every sense. And I can assure you that this is the work of a genius. Not me. I'm an average guy. I'm a security. Well, I'm working now doing security in a place that's coded with Marcos H, obviously caution, that the key points to as well. But like I say, you just could not. There is no way on this earth that I could put all this together. And really, I've done this. This is, you know, it should be a lifetime's work. And I don't put that much effort into it, to be truthful. Well, I have to uncode it, obviously, but I just sit back and wait for the triggers, really. And every month, and you know, when I did the last code, I was really thinking, well, I had no clue where the next bit was going to go. I didn't even you know, I saw the put up, but I didn't know what to put up or anything else. And then all of a sudden, it all just starts dropping, and piece by piece over well, really, you know, not many hours, really, is laughable for what I'm encoding. It should never be encoded in a lifetime. But as you can see, when you take, and we have not finished yet, but when you take up, you know, and when you take everything into account, the time scale really is what makes this so remarkable. The fact that I'm able to keep doing it, you know, I used to think, I mean, I'm going back 2 years ago, and I was thinking this can't go much further. And if you're gonna, well, if I was kind of, for want of a better word, blagging it, and just creating this stuff and making it fit, there's only so far you can go. But this code isn't getting worse. It doesn't get, well, it's not getting less. It's getting more and better. It's just getting, you know, phenomenal. Right. Okay. So as you can see, right. Okay. So basically, what you have is literally a code, well, an unbreakable code, really. And like I say, this video ties with the last one, as you're about to see, because the last part of the original code, bear with me, where are you? It says connect Atlas Cornwall code on U.S.A. Well, if you've watched the last video, I've already started to do that, because over America there's a great big corn scythe that I will show. I've got to remember to show you at the end, because last time I showed it, the light was shining on it, I noticed on the last video. But there is a huge scythe over, which is coded, completely coded, telling you that the American dollar is good. I forget the code, but it's in the last video. It says something about Marco place an angel sign or something, and it says US dollar collapses, US won't save Israel. I forget, but there's a whole trail basically that lead, you know, and it's basically, well, we're going to add to that now in the most unbelievable way, because there's a timeline on these codes as well. Right, let me just get organised on this next bit, and we'll take it from there. Bear with me a second. Okay, folks, now to the kind of final part of the original code, because one code kind of leads into the other, even though I was kind of half broken the first code and half broken the second code. But what I'm showing you on the board now is what I did in the last video, and there's a reason for showing this, because the following code, which is astonishing, well, look, you never know where these codes are going to come from. Although I kind of knew there was a code within this, but I couldn't break it at the time, going back to the 18th of the 9th, and I'll get more into that as I move on. But now I've broken it, obviously. Well, I know now I can break it, because I know, well, really because of this part here. Right, the first thing I wanted to point out, something I missed on the last one, and I don't think this is accidental. In fact, I'm positive it's not. But I broke the code for Corona Borealis. I forget what it is. Is it the Northern Crown? Corona Australis, the Southern Crown, or vice versa with the Crown. And then again, it's the Pleiades again. So the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters. Right. What I didn't notice was, right, again, I don't know whether I'm overreading this. Maybe I don't think I am though, because what you've got is a CCP. Now I would recognise that as being the Chinese Communist Party, which now is the PRC, but Xi Jinping, which is Mexico, who holds Mexico, is the U.S.A. Well, Mexico is an anagram of Come Xi, or Come XI, and then obviously his name is Jinping, I think it is, or something along them, or Jinping. But either way, that there is Mexico. Well, when you look where the scythe is held, or the kind of, it's like it's just telling you what the reaping is really. And obviously then that ties up with this message here. Right, what it says is Russia, NATO, the North-South Crown War, so please ID Israel's error. Right, everybody thinks that the Holy Land is the Middle East, is Israel. Well, it isn't. It's Great Britain, basically. And the battle of the king of the North-South Crown, the king of the North, the king of the South. Russia is the king of the North, NATO is the king of the South. And what happens is they push up, and I've decoded it as well. The Battle of Gog and Magog is the defence of London at the Gog and Magog Hills. It's all in the last video. But Israel's error is obviously they think they're going to be saved by Yah when clearly they've been utterly deceived, and they're not. Well, I say they're not the chosen people. I think there may be people among them who knows who the chosen people are, but they're not like where they think they are Jews or whatever else, and and these Israelites, they're clearly they're all European refugees really from World War II. But the bottom line is they're not the chosen people, and Israel is not the chosen land. And however they've been deceived with their Bible, I think the ancient Welsh Bible was rewritten, that's in code as well, rewritten into Hebrew, and I will identify where the Hebrews are from as well shortly, because that's part of the key to the Holy Land. Right, okay, so, but it says a corn lines event here connects both. Right, then when you take the US scythe, which I will show you a picture at the end, I won't move the camera now because it's murder getting it back onto this, in the right place. So the US scythe, the tip of it is the top of it is in California, which is a corn I fail, okay? Sacramento is the top, but St. Marco A, that's what that's an anagram of. Well, he sent me a sign, that's what a sacrament is as well. Well, when you take the place names that basically connect the scythe itself that I will show you, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places in total. When you basically it says, I've rejigged this a little bit from the last one, but it's the same words. Marco seen my end war map, sets an angel sign. Dollar collapses, US won't save Israel. Why won't they? Well, they won't save Israel because number one, the dollar will collapse, and it's virtually, and that is in real terms virtually happening. I don't understand it all, but it's being propped up by something, and they're printing money, but it ain't going to go on much longer, and they're in trillions and trillions of debt. So the dollar in debt will collapse at some point in the near future. Israel are going to start this war with Iran. I see Trump today has gone and practically given the US Senate or somebody's given the green light. They should take Iran out now. Now's the time. I'm afraid old Trump is not he's not, well, he's about to. And bear in mind the Cancer constellation, while we're at it, the stars in that say Israel-Iran begin, opens up last conflict, USA, China, Europe, UK, Russia, and then it says bolt thy last I am due message, seal all. Okay, well, we're going to come to that as well, because the moon eclipse message, which is also encoded in the map, so in a code with the arrowhead seal. I did it again on the last video. It said, on the back part of it says, rearrange the moon eclipse words to get the message. Well, when what I did, I used the dual moon, I think it was the dual American solar moon eclipses, I think it is. Nineveh, Salem, because one of the eclipses crossed over Nineveh, one crossed over like something like seven Salems and 9 Ninevehs or something. They're all biblical places, Nineveh being a warning and Salem being the back end of Jerusalem. But either way, when I encoded it, when you take the actual words that make that code up, then you rearrange the moon eclipse words, it says, as due, evac ship Llanmelin, Seal Marco's Orion name. Well, my Orion name, as crazy as it sounds, is Messiah, and I don't say that lightly. But given all this, it kind of, well, obviously it makes complete sense. Right? Okay. Well, let's move on from that, because the code that we're coming to is what this is right. Let me put it up first, and then I'll explain it. Bear with me. Okay, folks, right, connect Atlas Cornwall code on U.S.A. Right, incredibly, right, firstly, if you remember on the 66th video, I did, without realising it, on the 9th of the 9th, and it was all about the Cancer constellation and the 999 and the 666. Basically, it's all about the Cancer constellation being a 6 and a 9, and that's my birth sign basically for the Royal Arch, which gives you the RGH. This is going to be complex if you've just started following these, but bear with me. Okay, so add the 6 and the 9, and what you get is it on the 9th of the 9th, the 999 and the 666 code. Basically, 666 is the bunker underneath where the 999 evac is to take place, in a place called Llanmelin and Caerwent, which is where the temple is. Okay, and Jerusalem, the real Jerusalem, which is, if you want to Google that, it's Venta Silurum, and the key fort is Llanmelin, Llanmelin. Okay, it's the key and the lock that unlocks the entirety of the Holy Land, the real Holy Land. Okay, on the 18th of the 9th, this event happened. And now this is what I mean. When I tried to decode this, I kind of thought there's like a missing piece. But for some, it was only after uncoding the scythe, which I drew 2 years previous, and then find the code in it about the dollar collapsing, which shows you that I'm getting taken to this stuff. Basically, all I do is the same I did with the American, the dual American moon eclipse that makes the X over America, which tells you as due evac ship Llanmelin, Seal Marco's Orion name. But now, what happened, it was a triple harvest, it was a triple event basically. It was a harvest moon, a super moon, and there was a partial solar eclipse as well. You wouldn't have seen it, it was over Europe and Africa. But the date of it is very important, because from the 9th of the 9th, 9 days later is the 18th of the 9th, and then significantly 9 days later is the 27th of the 9th. So in the 9th month, and they're all plus 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 9 is 27. So what you've got is a 9 plus 9 plus 9. And then, I think this is what this is getting at. 12 days later, on the 9th of the 10th, I actually text Steve back with the code. That was the day I decoded the James Webb telescope. So, and I think this 10 is X in Roman, because it's Roman numerals, and I think this is to do with the 12 tribes, which is the 12 tribes being a split rapture. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, well, it says his corn reap map tool reveals split rapture event lies. Okay, so what is the split rapture? The split rapture is the absolute lie that, in Revelations, that the 12,000 from the tribe of Gad and 12,000 from the tribe of Issachar, and basically in the 144,000 nonsense. Well, this is clearly not true. Israel, I think what's happened is that, well, no, I'm 99.9% sure that the ancient Welsh Bible has been written into Hebrew, but the story has been changed completely. It's been given to the Hebrews for some reason, who have ended up getting kicked out of their original place in Britain, which I will show you the code that kind of confirms that. And then basically they've sort of gone off into believing that they're the kind of chosen people, which is, and this is why they're going against Iran, and they think that Yah is going to save them, and absolutely it isn't going to happen. And that's what I mean. That when Israel is now, I don't even want it to happen really, but well, I'm not in control of it, but Israel is in its final, let's say, death throes, I would say. Everything is going to backfire, and this whole thing is going to just end up with Israel ceasing to exist. And then obviously then all the rest of this war and everything else that I'm decoding is going to end up in the real Holy Land, with the final battle being Gog and Magog between Russia and NATO. Okay, but what you have basically is on the 9th of 9th I did the 66th video revealing the 6 and the 9, so you've got 999 code. 9 days later you get this is with the moon where this event happened, so he says there'll be signs in the moon, the sun and everything else, and I don't mean in Revelations, I mean in the Old Testament now, and even though it's been rewritten, there's truth still left in it, along with the code in Job and everything else. But reveals split rapture event lies. Right, the reason being, it's not a split rapture, it's a one-shot deal. When this Argus ship arrives, there's one chance to get off this planet. And those that, and obviously my job is just to preempt everybody that when this ship arrives, it isn't the Antichrist, it isn't the Project Bluebeam. I see all these things ramping up a little bit and all this. It's going to be, but they're going to be portrayed as the enemy, and the Antichrist is a trick. It's a trick to stop people basically getting on this ship, I think, and that's what the game is. While they're hiding underneath in their bunker, thinking they're safe. Obviously, once this ship got, and the reason for the evac is, as I've decoded, there is the 12th planet, which is Planet X as well. Planet X, written in the 10th tribe is Reuben. Reuben is Nibiru. Nibiru is the ancient Babylonian way of spelling it, and it says, and it tells you it's been before and it's going to come round again. And basically this is the final, and even the word solar system says loses my star. So, and I think that obviously that'll be Earth. Well, Earth was, I'm assuming, is my star. So once this takes off, but they're going to basically try everything to keep people from getting on this, and they want them to bite the reskinned apple of Eden and believe that Jesus is coming back to save them, and that is an absolute lie. Jesus was not the saviour. There was no blood sacrifice sent from the Creator. He did not send his only son to be cruelly murdered by his arch enemy, the Romans. They've lied to you people, and like I say, they're a bit, well, when this ship arrives, they're going to be exposed for everything they are. Unfortunately, sadly, I think there's people going to. Basically, you're just going to, they're going to die for Jesus, unfortunately, not the other way round. Jesus didn't die for them, but they will die waiting for their Messiah. Well, it doesn't bear thinking about, but I'm hoping that I can get people to see and do the right thing. And ultimately, well, you need to stand in. Actually, let me just do the last final code. And I've got to show you that, the scythe as well. Bear with me a second, folks. Okay, folks, right, this one's was such an easy code. I had my suspicions anyway. I kind of worked it out, and I got a feeling this is something to do with Tyre and Sidon and the destruction of it, maybe. There's a place called Tyre, is it? Tyre in Scotland, around this kind of area. I might be wrong on that, don't quote me on it, but I get that impression. Either way, right, the whole of Britain used to be Wales, basically, or Britain was Wales. It was the Welsh Holy Land. The whole land is the Holy Land. Okay, take the word Wales and Hebrides, unscrabble it, and this is what they give me: Seal Hebrews ID. So the Hebrews, the real Hebrews, are basically those from the the original Hebrews were from the Scottish Isles, up there. Right, the most northern isle of the Hebrides is Skye, the Isle of Skye. Well, when you enter, it comes with a heading, the Isle of Keys. Skye is just an anagram of Keys. Okay, so there's the H, that's your Hebrides. Now going back again, I can't go through it all. I know this is going to sound crazy if you haven't watched this, but if we take the temple arch, basically you've got the Cancer sign. This is the Cancer constellation on the template. You've got Canaan, which is England. Egypt, which is Exeter, what represents Exeter, is Cornwall basically. So you've got Cornwall, England. Siluria, that's what I mean. This is the land of Siluria, and this is where the two forts are: the Jerusalem and the hill fort. The hill fort in shape of the key, Jerusalem in the shape of a lock. So not only have you got the keys to the Holy Land, it also gives you you've got a fort in the shape of a key and the padlock where it meets on the Cancer constellation template that fits on the temple, which is in Jerusalem. This is the Royal Arch. G is Jerusalem temple, and your H is your hill fort. So that again, the Royal Arch in Cancer is the Royal Gwent Hospital, or the RGH. The house I lived in, like I say, I was in the womb of the Matrix. The house literally sits on the temple. I was taken to the RGH, the Royal Gwent Hospital, Casnewydd. I was born, but lived my life not knowing anything about this, and then end up coming back 50 years later, having a great awakening of some description that I didn't know whether I was coming, going, and I had no clue of any of this, and never done coding or whatever. Anyway, and here I am now, able to uncode all this in no time. But the keys to the keys to the kingdom, or the Holy Kingdom, are the Keysh. But the other thing, the keys H. Well, that is H, and that is the fort, the hill fort, which is the H as well, in the shape of a key, but it's the R, G is the H in the code. So as you can see, it's quite, so clever. And this is all my code comes from creation, nothing else. Your books, your lies, they're all these religious books. Religion is a complete and utter lie, and the Creator is coming back. He says, I show you things in ancient times not yet done. So when they happen, you know that I did it. I am your, I'm going to not use the word God, I'm going to say, I am your creator and saviour. There is no other. I'm not the saviour. I might be, and the Messiah, by the way, is just an anagram of same as H. But, and I don't say it lightly, because it's encoded in Orion's riddle. There's so many times it comes up. Well, like I say, trying to get my head round it is something else. But as you can see, I'm here to guide you, to get you ready, really, and hopefully that you. And please, I would ask you to like and share this video, and even if you can plant seeds, because if people are not taking notice now, the one thing I do know is when this ship turns up, they're gonna be, it's gonna put the fear in everybody. Are they going to disclose it before it arrives? I don't know. They might do, but if they do, they'll be telling you that it's an enemy, and they're going to be treating it as a security threat. Well, they're already doing it, really, but they're preparing for it. They know it's coming. Okay, so bear with me a second. I just got right on that note. What you need to do, and this is how you get your place on. Hang on, let me make it a bit smaller just to show you how crazy. Again, this is all part of the same code. This is how you pray. Like this. This is your head bowed. You stand in the letter Y, Yah's initial, basically. And what you do is you put your sins in your palms and you offer them up. And you ask for forgiveness, but don't go to him with a double heart and mention Jesus, because I'm telling you, Jesus it's an absolute lie, the whole thing. Okay, and again, like I say, if you call that the river and you look in the reflection, what you've got, and this is why Solomon is Coelin ap Caradoc. It says, go and pray, all code C is an anagram of Coelin ap Caradoc, who is Solomon, who ruled from this fort. Okay, and his father David, they've got it down as Caradoc ap Bran, but I think it's David Caradoc ap Bran, but it's Advid. Again, I can go into deep, I won't go into it all, but what you've got, basically, what I did by doing this, I did the exact same thing. It's the Cancer constellation as well with the moon sign. That's the key to unlocking everything in my mind. And that's how I don't know how I did it, but I unlocked my mind basically. I offered up my sin, made my peace with Yah, and obviously accepted that things were wrong, and he obviously rewarded me incredibly with all this code. But if you look in the reflection of the Sinarvi, the River Severn, Sinarvi, which used to be the Sabbath River, or the Sab River at least, and then the Romans changed it to Sabrina, and then it became Severn. But either way, what you get, that's me doing the prayer, and then in return I got, well, the exact Cancer constellation, which is what you've got there. And that literally is as stunning as this code is. Okay, I'll just take you now 2 seconds. I'm going to turn the light off this time, because last time I showed this, there was a big blob of light on it, so bear with me a second. Okay folks, just to show you that it, like I say, it's not just, and this is not the only picture for anybody new. This is just one picture of many that are on the map, including a big triangle mothership with literally, it's all coded with the tail fin and everything to distinguish it. It's a triangle mothership. There's a picture of an actual ship. One crosses over the other, and they encode as well, but it doesn't bear good. This is America, north and south. This is California, Cornell Fail. Sacramento is the top. Newport News, because Solomon's newspaper ship as well. Decoded off one of the seals of Solomon. There's a star cut in half, and it's a paper ship. And what it is, the South Wales, and that place there is called Newport News. Newport News because it connects them with the ship that's over here. And sits on the Gwent levels. Again, this is all encoded. I've done it in previous ones, where this ship sits here, and it's Solomon's news, but basically the Newport News paper ship that sits on the Gwent levels. It decodes that, which is the Gwent levels is this area. I haven't drawn the ship on, but this is the base for it. It's kind of here, and I don't know if you can see this. I'm probably, sorry folks, my camera works terrible, I know. But essentially, it like I say, I can go in, well, there's too much code to even do it. You have to go through these videos. I did make a playlist as well, the A to Z, the alphabet, the A to Z, the Apple to the LZ. The A for Apple is the beginning, and the LZ is the end, the landing zone. But I did a playlist which cuts out all the early stuff where, well, watch it by all means, but obviously there's things in there I'm still trying to work out what's what, and it gets more interesting from Eden onwards when I located Eden, because where it began is where it ends really, and Eden is the same place as Solomon's temple and Jerusalem. It is built on Eden. Okay, but as you can see, there's a great big corn scythe. And bear in mind that the scythe says Marco sets an angel's sign, dollar collapses, US won't save his. Sorry, I'll start that again. It says, Marco's seen my end war map, sets an angel's sign, dollar collapses, US won't save Israel. Okay, that's made up of all the place names where the dots are. That's just an anagram of those. And then obviously you've got the triple harvest supermoon code, which says his corn reap map tool reveals split rapture event lies. America is a great, well, they don't realise they're worshipping Amen Ra, and every time they say that word, what they're doing, Ra is the serpent or the entity, the snake from the Garden of Eden, and the Vatican and Christianity is all about, it's just reskinned Egypt, it's reskinned Horus, and that's why it's a reskinned crab apple, because there's obviously an apple on the map as well, which fits in, I can't show you it, but it's basically a mound in the shape of an apple. But if you go to the Eden videos, you'll find it anyway. Right, on that note, folks, all I will say is, I would really appreciate comments on this. Do you think there's no way I'm crazy. I'm either a genius and I've got voices in my head that are far more intelligent than me, or there is, or this is a genuine. And well, I know the answer. It's genuine. I'm not out to deceive anybody. I didn't set out to dismiss Jesus or I don't know, whoever all the other religions. What I set out was well, firstly, I made a deal to do this, but I didn't. I got more than I anticipated, than I expected by a long shot. But ultimately, I wanted to find the truth, and I said, how do we know what is truth? Jesus, people, Christians will tell you follow another religion, you go to hell. The other religion says you go to hell, and there's no way until this code came along. And Yah's, I have no doubt who the creator is. Yah is real, and he answers me in so many different ways. And even though I'm not communicating with him directly, it's through his, but he knows the conversation. He knows the questions I'm going to ask before I even ask them. He's calculated this simulation. So everything you do is pre-calculated. You're doing it through free will, but it's like I say, it's just, and we are very, we're almost there. Anyway, on that note, folks, I've got to get ready to unlock the padlock on my gate, ironically, because that's what I do, and actually do some work here. On that note, folks, I'd look forward to, but please like, subscribe, and I only ask you to like, as I have, I get roughly 150 odd people watch these videos. Well, regular, that seems to be the number. It used to be higher till I started pinpointing a few things like Egypt and the Masonic stuff, and it seemed to the number, I don't know whether it was just down to the titles, but it seemed to drop by down from 280 down to 150 something. So subscribe, put the notification bell, I guess. So it's funny saying this stuff because I listen to other people saying it, but I don't make any money off this, and I don't intend to. And in fact, I don't think we're gonna have time. I wouldn't have time to get it up to enough to make any money anyway. But like he says, your gold and silver won't save you, and all it's not going to be any good to me. I am incorruptible because there's no way that I would go against Yah if they offered me a mansion, a Ferrari, or anything to stop doing what I'm doing and follow. Well, it's just not going to happen because I know the Creator is real. I know what he's shown me, what he's done. I have no reason to lie to anyone. I'm genuine, and I just hope that all I want you to really do is get your hands up, stand in letter Y, just basically say sorry, just apologize, just let him know you did. We all make mistakes in life, and I did it. I lived a life like everyone else, so I know how easy this world is. Just railroad you into sin from the day you're born. But Yah's aware of that too. And what the plan is to evacuate the best people off this planet who are willing to get rid of their crosses and their idols of wood and stone, which are not your false idols, are not like your pop stars and your screen stars. Yeah, okay, well, unless you pray to them, they're not idols and worship them. I know people like we've all done it in teenage years and love concerts and groups and what have you. But all that is a distraction to take you away from the real, what he's talking about when he says, get rid of your idols of wood and stone, gold and silver that cannot see, hear, walk, talk. It's Jesus on a cross, or it's supposed, and it's the biggest blasphemy of all. They pinned him out in a letter Y with his palms nailed. And it's just, well, like I say, they've turned good into evil and evil into good. And like I say, it's all going to, I've been sent just to, well, clearly, unaware of it initially, but it's become clear that I'm the messenger, the angel messenger that's been sent to basically to get you prepared, wake you up, and I'll just continue what I'm doing. But if you could subscribe, share, plant seeds. I know people don't listen. I get the same thing, but I just plant a seed, and I just know that when that ship turns up, people are going to, that's when people are going to come looking. But do your best, see what you can do. But most of all, most important is get yourself and and get yourself saved, basically. And on that note, Yah's blessings to you all, and I'll see you on the next video.